Hello, everyone. It's time for another top 25 movies of the year. Doing top 25 movies 2025. Why 25? It's because 10 is just not enough, but I still need a good cutoff so this video isn't 3 hours long. So, yeah, between what I consider the best movies of 2025, specifically 25 releases that are not Film Fest releases. I don't really count that as a release, more like a showcase. Anywho, let's get on with the video. King of our list is Little Bailey with the character Ray. This is a very calming film, but at the same time, this has so much going for it. For one, I love how they write a very realistic toddler while still adding a lot to her and make it incredibly engrossing. And I love the way this film tackles ideas that seemed like they would be too big for this other character experience, mm, being seen as outsiders in the country you moved to, not being liked by others, or is by showing how she reacts at the effects without trying to make her seem like she has the full understanding of everything. Because even like through her internal monologues, she doesn't. It feels very realistic while still like not trying to make this character like just a dumb toddler character. Or it's a very fun movie. Maybe fun's the wrong word, but yeah, it's very nice. Next up is Come See Me in the Good Light. I did talk about this movie in my Oscars video. It is a documentary that does so much. It tells an incredibly engrossing story, has great characters. Well, I guess not characters because they're real people. We get the point. I mean, has so much to say about like how art is like as a therapeutic thing. It, it's a lot in this documentary, and I got so much out of when I watched it. It's incredible. A wild ride as well emotionally. Yeah, there was a reason I thought this should have won the best documentary category. It's just so good. 100 Meters is one of the most refreshing sports films because I was like, at least from what I know, it's like the only sports film I've seen that's really focused on the psychological aspects of its sports. And not only does it involve the mentality of running, it uses it to develop character. And, and I say that because basically everyone's entire personalities are very transparent in how they approach the sport. It makes for really fascinating character studies throughout its two leads depicted on the poster, as well as like adding this new layer of like a conflict in this rivalry that feels like psychological as well as just running fast, and even captures the feeling of the running because I jog a lot and watching this movie feels like going for a run, even when you're not. It's such a brisk movie. That's very fun to watch. And this was a year that got some good sports movies. There's like Smash Machine Christie were also really good from this year. That didn't make the list, but it's still good. But yeah, this one's really cool. Oh yeah, and I love the different change of animation they do in the running scenes. Those are absolutely insane, and they're beautiful. I would best describe Materialist as like an old school rom com that you'd probably see back in like the 40s, brought into the modern era. It has a lot of that goop, that silliness, with some larger than life characters and situations, but it brings it to this very modern like satire of the. I guess you could tell by the title how people just view these relationships just material transactions, very few with actual concern for romance, and it does so in ways that's both really funny, like I was laughing hysterically when I saw this, and actually gives you a lot to think about as well. Oh, how absurd people treat these relationships. Like, give us some examples that just feel like silly jokes. You see them online a lot. I mean, I know internet's not truly exactly real life, but still. And I also love how shows how some of these like dating corporations work. And I know this one's different than a lot of people use, but you examine how it operates mainly through Dakota Johnson's character. The attitudes and mechanics are so similar. I just I get it makes you appreciate more upon thinking about it. It's something you can both enjoy just as a like fun rom com and is something to think about. I think that's pretty dope. Mysterious Gaze of the Flamingo is such an odd, fascinating movie because its mixture of magical realism, tackling of homophobia, and is such a unique mixture. It's while also feeling incredibly warm. It doesn't feel dreary or misery like what I just said a few seconds ago to apply. It's such a comforting movie to watch that at the same time kind of leaves me lost for words, but there's just it's yet it also avoids the other end of the spectrum being so sentimental, over sentimental, just corny cheeseball that I've seen some other movies do that. It's a really beautiful film to watch. It's definitely one I feel is most experienced. That and I've kind of had to take like multiple recordings to figure out what to say, but yeah, I think you get the idea what makes it such a great watch. At number 20, we have To Kill a Wolf. This movie takes that old children's tale and really spins it into such a great movie dealing with loss of family members in a very creative way. It doesn't feel rote as this topic would suggest it would. I love how it takes the characters from the Red Riding Hood fairy tale and really is with such a new outlook on them. And all the characters are so great and memorable. It's an incredibly moving film to watch. Shame that basically no one knows about this one. It's free on Roku channel, so definitely go watch it. The Plague is a movie that can get very unsettling, like some of the best ways possible. Again, to get through how well it depicts child bullying. Like it doesn't go into this ridiculous depiction that you typically see in a lot of film. It feels so much more grounded and brutal. Like this one can get pretty damn ugly. Yeah, and it's just and it feels so authentic. I love how the use of the plague is so ambiguous. It just adds to this uneasiness that you're feeling this entire time you watch. And also just the general cluelessness going on experience when you're at that age. It really captures that feeling of being in that era so well. Gross stuff. I know it's kind of like a joke to say that movie is X meets Y, but to clearly talk about what Dust Bunny is, there's no other way to do other than it is a assassin like from you see in like John Wick meeting monster horror meeting black comedy, and everything aspect I just mentioned about this movie is excellently done. The action is so much fun, un un edited super well. It's, and it's very funny. I love how he takes these tropes seriously while also have a sense of humor. It is it's just a bizarre movie that it just feels like nothing like it. And it's just such a blast to watch. Absolutely bizarre movie. Love everything about it. I love to see more crazy mishmashes like this. After Hunt is a movie that I had to sit about like some afterwards because this is what I really dig about this movie is how it just completely bends the script of the typical teacher accused assaulting student or just mad assaulting younger woman story. It has so much moral gray in area in regards to its characters, the whole situation. There's no easy answers placed in this movie. Even the types of themes it tackles are just so different from what you typically see in this type of story. it all catches me off guard in ways that I was like constantly thinking about it as I was watching. And I love, especially you gotta talk about characters, because typically in these types of stories, the person who's said to have been assaulted and the so assaulter are just very one note, and it's made very clear who, or if it's what actually happened. Not these characters. There's so much this movie that makes me doubt everyone in this movie. Mainly the four you see in this poster, and it's not from. Not because they're or not the writing's obscured and not very communicated well. The movie's constantly throwing things at me to make me doubt myself. And it was one that, even still, at the end, there was a lot that were intentionally left open in the air. It is a very thought-provoking movie, I must say. It's one I'm looking forward to watching again sometime. Ideally with someone I can converse about it with, because, yeah, this is definitely one that makes you think about. So, funny thing about this movie, I hadn't heard of this movie until I saw my local AMC play it. I saw it had good ratings, and then I went up this poster thinking this was going to be Blood and Honey, but good. I was so happy to have been dead wrong. Like, if you're going to do a horror movie set in, like, a Pokemon fairy tale, please watch this movie before you do so. For one, this movie actually had a reason to be an R-rated horror movie based off a fairy tale, because it actually worked with the themes the movie's trying to talk about, like how people just completely mutilate themselves in hopes of trying to be seen as attractive. And before we say this is not a rip off The Substance, it is a very, very different movie with more different angles to this particular topic and a very different kind of horror, because this one is far more nasty. Substance was more fun. This is very intentionally gross and disturbing. Some parts were a little queasy, like ugh, because this movie can get really gross, but not like overwhelmingly so, or just trying to just be shock. And it's all with purpose, and all the visuals are great too. So as well, it does add so much to this fairy tale as well. It works with the tale uh, of the stepsister in Cinderella. Yeah, this is a very good example of how to do this right. Even still, it's just a great body horror in general. So with some insane scenes that just don't leave my mind. All right. All that's left of you. There's been a lot of movies these days about related to Palpatine struggles. Well, I think what really sets this one for me above a lot of the others. It's a lot of the great ones about the others even. I actually this is such a great growing up tale that doesn't even feel cliche at all. It it doesn't even bog down its whole family dynamic because everything else is surrounding it while still portraying I'll still be able to portray all the events going on. It's incredibly really moving movie to watch. Oh, I forgot to add on. This should have won Best Song at the Oscars. Not fucking golden. Like, seriously, you gotta at least listen to the song for this movie. Next up is Train Dreams. I know some people don't like the narrator in this movie. Honestly, I think it works fine. It's never overbearing and doesn't feel like it's saying redundant information or things that just seem strictly for the visual of the movie. And I must say, the visuals of the movie are incredible. Like, there's a reason I talked about it in my Oscar video, but this was my pick for best cinematography because it is a movie which has its land as part of a character as well. It even still, and it also is great. What I'll say narrative works is because it kind of complements the character, who is a very quiet character. It does not talk about much about himself, so it's as if we're having this secondary person to who tell us what he doesn't want to say about him. And also the story's still really engaging. It's basically a tale of his life, but there's so much events that just wouldn't leave my mind. And with one very satisfying conclusion, I must say, it's a very beautiful film that just makes you is both sad and kind of uplifting. It's incredible. President's Cake, I think one of the most interesting parts about the movie is how it explores this era of Saddam Hussein's rule, ways that are like super overbearing through this child's perspective, showing like hints of what's going on, getting a very clear picture while also being super invested in just this tale of this girl trying to get ingredients to make this cake. All the acting's fantastic. It's never like super sappy or trying to be over dramatic. It's a great. Doesn't be all over exploitive. It has this. It's both a great look into the era, well, will also be a great tale. Yeah, great stuff. Homebound was like a kind of a surprise because I see like so many indie movies through my regular limited subscription, and I just wasn't really prepared for not only something just so nowhere near as bombastic as these movies in this country tend to be, but one that just really really understands the issues in this country, but managed to convey them in such a way that even I, an outsider, can not only just fully understand, but really connect with all these characters feeling so outcasted by their society. They're great, really written characters. Very a lot, much form a massive connection to them over the course of these 2 hours. To the point where, being by the end, it was an absolute shock what happens at the end. I'm not spoiling, obviously. It's quite an emotional journey. Highly recommend it. Especially recommend if you generally don't like movies from India or how great you are. This is very different than them. It's great stuff. But this is one I had a hard time figuring worse too. Twinless is such an interesting look into like how our relationships affecting people, both with friendships, the siblings, and romantic relationships, in ways that it's so much both very funny and also very sad at points. I actually love how it deals with two leads, but both written very well and acted very well. It's another one of the 2025 movies with great two character performance. Dylan O'Brien. Uh, there's it's a great movie. Or funny, sad. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about it. At number 10, we got She Rides Shotgun. This is an incredibly tense, exciting movie that just never lets go once it gets going, which is like right at the beginning. It just starts off crazy and just goes. Never, never lets you off that edge of your seat. Really great father-daughter dynamic. It's incredibly engaging, does a great job. Does a great job of handling its information well. That's one thing I really noticed with watching because it knows when you, how to avoid dumping information on you that would slow the movie down to a crawl, and even letting you embellish in the chaos when you first off not knowing what the heck is going on. Absolute hectic movie. It's a lot of fun. Next up we have Begonia. So this is kind of an interesting. My perspective of the movie kind of did change a bit after watching the movie it's a remake of, and in a good way. Like when I first watched this, I absolutely love the dark humor that's like always hilarious. All the incredible performances, the great sense of tension it's building. Even if you're pretty sure know what's happening, the way it movie really gets you feeling the paranoia. And then I watched the original Save the Green Planet. And what I really appreciate more about this movie when watching that, I love how it actually changed from Save the Green Planet into something that was its own thing, focused on different ideas, a different style, which is given it's Yorgos, he's gonna have his own style. And it wasn't in ways that distracted from the experience of being like, why did you change that? This is better. If it felt like it was at a different goal, it was trying to be its own thing even though it basically had the same story. And I wish more remakes were like that. There was another that did that Wedding Banquet. Didn't make the list, but it's still a great one. But this is one of those instances where I would recommend both the original and the remake highly. So yeah, watch both. Watch both this and Save the Green Planet. Mickey 17. I would say this would be the amalgamation of everything Bong Joon-ho ha- complaints or not complaints, critiques regards to class throughout his career, all going full speed, hyper in this movie. Because the movie really feels like he's just dumping everything he's pissed off about, and it's awesome. Like, despite having so much to say, it does feel incredibly focused with all the central problems he's exploring. As well, the movie's just tons of fun. The humor's great. Pattinson is awesome. This should have been the best actor nominee that played twin characters, or two characters in the movie rather, or managed to take both the clones and make them feel so radically different just from how he acts with them. As well as the film is fun, as has such a great world explores. It gives me a lot to think about, and as well as just being tons of fun. If I had legs, I'd kick you. I think this is like one of the two. There's only two movies that I've seen in my life that I would say were actually like legit scary. Like I was scared watching them, and there aren't horrors. Those two were 20 Tales the Hunt and this movie. Like this movie really catches that feeling, just spiraling out of control, losing control of your legs just so damn well. I love the visual of this movie. Like a freaking hole in the ceiling is absolutely horrifying, which sounds so ridiculous on paper, but then you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Rose Byrne should have won the Oscar personally. This is a phenomenal performance on all fronts. Captures all these emotions so damn well. Along with the just unrelenting chaos. I also need to shout out Conan O'Brien. I would never predicted that. He would just come out and he would just do this incredible supporting role that is just as memorable as this lead. There's so much. The chaos depicted is so well done. An absolute horrifying ride from start to finish. Barney Supreme. There's a type of movie I guess Safdies like to make, and I know some different one of them about douchebag characters going in crazy hijinks with good time, uncut gems, and now this one. And yeah, they're also along with the other two. This one is so much damn fun. This is easily Chalamet's best performance to date. Like I've seen with him, the character is such both absolutely detestable and incredibly engaging as well. I gotta love. I actually love how he's written. The movie has like this very complex morality to him, where some part where he wants you to both root and detest him for very different reasons. And also the ping pong matches are just so exciting. Like the one near the end is have you on the edge of my seat, yo. Like damn, it was incredible. Absolute blast to watch. I'll be honest, y'all. I'm sick of World War II movies. Not that there aren't any more good ones. Like there was another that was pretty solid called this year called Nuremberg. But I honestly thought there was just nothing left new you can talk about with regards to World War II until I just saw this movie was playing at my local AMC. And then I saw it and it's absolutely phenomenal. Like the new angle approach by taking this photographer has gave me so much to think about that other World War II movies just don't. And I know the odds of photography taken in war movies in general isn't very new. There was Civil War from 2024. But this angle of government suppression, the photos, to manipulate these photographers just makes me think so much about our own current America, even though that was definitely not the intention. But I don't really get much thought into our current society less like any World War II movie does. I think what's also great about this movie is that it actually gets really disturbing and not in like a sensationalist way that a lot of movies end up doing. They never get this feeling of trying to be excited or extravagant. It's all just a cruel misery shown from this massacre. Even has the even any sort because all the focus on civilians. There's really none of the soldiers in any way. It's just showing the awfulness Now, no one is depicted. There's really no real heroes in this movie. Even our protagonist ends up just going. I love how it's written as just complete dissent. It's truly horrifying. There's two scenes in this movie in particular that are just gonna stick in my mind. Just how much they were unnerving. I'd rather not spoil them because I'd rather you guys watch it yourself. It is absolutely. Uh, it was definitely a movie that stuck with my mind days afterwards. Or it's ways that yeah, no other movies out this world don't. It's incredible. I hope we'll see this because then so we can be right for talking about the best of World War II movies because it's incredible. Sorry, baby. This really easily could have been like a lifetime movie just put on theaters. But what prevents this from being that is its approach to how it treats its victim's sexual assault. It doesn't turn this into some dumb pity party that's like so over the top and dramatic. It actually paints her as a human with not just downsides, a lot of positivity mixed in as well. It's some genuinely really funny moments that are not like random bits to just feel like throwaway gags, are actually like even some parts that really could be dark on that should be totally serious on paper, like the doctor's office appointment after the assault happened. That seems hilarious. And it's not and it doesn't go against what the movie's trying to do. It actually works so well with it by showing up how much of an arrogant guy he is. There's other scenes like that in this movie that are funny, but also serve the greater point of how dehumanized sexual assault victims can be treated at points. And also, I really got to shout out how they portrayed this at assault. They don't show it all. Like the scene it is, it's just she walks in the house. It's showing the wide shot, a zoomed out shot of the house. Pause, time jump, pause, and then time jump, walks out. Like just from those still shots, you can just feel something's bad. And that singular moment shows how much care was put into how the subject matter was depicted to avoid just being cliche or sensationalist. It's a great movie, great written character, and lots of laughs while still being able to take the whole thing seriously. The enemy does hit pretty damn hard. Yeah, incredible film. I'll love to see what this director does next. Number three is No Other Choice. Even as someone who absolutely adores Park Chan-wook, I was just not prepared for this insane experience. One, because I'd never seen a movie so damn funny from him. Granted, I haven't watched everything he's directed, but also how well the movie mixes this humor with those dark themes about dehumanizing the job hunting experience really is, and just work in general. I think one of the strongest attributes of the movie and how it takes the people that our protagonist is hunted to kill and just fleshes them out. Not only does it make the movie even more exciting because now we feel like we have no idea who we should be rooting for, but it also just elevates the themes of the dehumanization, showing how we are essentially forced to take all these people and view them as pawns fighting against us. And this, while also the movie's still an absolute blast to watch, I especially have to shout the editing in this movie. It's insane. This is a great example of like maximalist, over the top editing that works so well. Not only is it cool looking, but it actually like has a purpose, not just to be flashy or just look awesome. And like, it looks awesome. Like some of these are so creative. Like what were they smoking in that editing room? Because I could use that. Absolute blast to watch. It also gives a lot to think about. Great movie. Eddington is going to probably come down on years from now as one of the most brilliant pieces of satire ever. Not only does it manage to just roast America there in ways that are actually very thoughtful and just on the point, but it also doesn't really lose sight of what truly was causing a lot of how we acted in 2020 through our use of social media being used to divide us like even with some people's talking about the movie just illustrated, like I seen this movie called Centrist, is like, oh, it's trying to be both sides bad without really understanding that we were supposed to have been pitted against each other in that time and still are today. And I really love how this movie does not just hone in specifically on very 2020 specific things instead of on aspects that are going to continue for years from now. Like this could easily have been about of like Donald Trump and Joe Rogan, who absolutely deserve to get roasted for the dumb shit they said in 2020, but avoiding that would helps this movie's commentary resonate even in this year of 2026. I feel like the what this movie's talking about is even more true now. We're regressing. I can, and even aside from the commentary, this is an incredibly entertaining story. Joe Cross is such a great example of an awful person written beautifully. He's so engaging to watch, even if you just hate him so much. And Ari Aster knows how to create such tension, the pot boiling until it just explodes near the end with that insane climax. Absolute wild movie that has so much to think about. Yeah, this it's definitely one same thing with the After the Hunt. This is one I highly recommend get watching people that you know will have a good conversation about. And finally, is number one. It's one bad or another. Like when I saw this movie, like the day after it came out, I knew this was gonna win Best Picture, not because it was an Oscar baity trash movie, because it is just a phenomenal film in like every aspect. Even the parts of my Oscar video where I put something else over in the category, it's still incredible. Like all these performances, we got some best careers from like DiCaprio in particular. I was never a big fanboy of him. I thought it was good, some good stuff, but then this movie was perfect for him. I will say the casting award was definitely nominated in that regard. Every actor was just this was just perfect for their roles, brought out all their best characteristics. Visuals are so great. I especially love how the movie is written, because this is a type of plot line that in a long time ago would have been like some cliched white savior bullshit, but in ways the movie feels like an antithesis of white savior bullshit. Not just because our lead by DiCaprio is kind of a man-child doofus, because it utilizes everyone so well. There's no real one hero in the movie. Everyone has such a big part, or it feels so balanced, even with a central protagonist. Or it avoids how anyone feeling like a savior. And I love how it rates its villains, being both comic relief and feeling like genuine threats at the same time is a feat that many try but fail miserably at. In this movie, it succeeds wonderfully. Well, because Sean Penn just acted it so well, and because the movie knew how to incorporate the two together. It's an incredibly exciting movie. Even at like 2 hours and 40 minutes, it does not get boring. It's an absolute blast to watch. Like truly gonna go down. It's gonna be one of those movies by the time 2030 rolls around, will be remembered as one of the iconic films of the decade for good reason. It's incredible. So yeah, that's my top 25 of 2025. I hope you at least found one new movie you can to go watch. Uh, because this is about promoting new stuff. I will admit I kind of ran into the same problem I did with the 2024 list of just having like writer's block, trying to figure out what I want to say about the movie, even though I know damn well I wanted on the list. I think I didn't stumble as hard as the last year's video, but it definitely shows with some clips. You could probably figure out which ones I'm talking about. I did have the idea of tacking on a top 10 worst movies of the year, but I decided not to do that because I was already stalled way too much in this video, and I thought that would probably take away from what this video is about of promoting good movies. Maybe next year I could do one for next year. Really, I really wanted to talk about The Threesome, which was my pick for the worst movie 2025. That movie in particular is so fucking bad. I had so much to say about it. And I do want to announce that this isn't going to come anytime soon. I want to try doing a bad movie review series called Peter After Critiques a Bad Movie. I'm not sure if the threesome will be on there. It might. I really want to talk about that movie in detail because it's so terrible. And my experience watching it, but I've decided what it's gonna be. I'm not gonna say it now in this video. If you're in my Discord, I know it is. Yeah, I don't want to say it now because it won't be for a long time. But I do want to do more movie-related content on this channel, mainly, especially since we're not doing podcasts right now. You know, hopefully get one day I'll come back for real. But yeah, definitely want to incorporate movie stuff because I do like doing this stuff. So yeah, well, thanks for watching.